So hello and welcome. My name's Steve Nabelt, and today I'm speaking with Patricia Fitzgerald on Mandalas, a path of alchemy and dreams. So Patricia is a mandala artist based in Dublin, Ireland, and I visited her shop, which is fabulous, with my partner Liz. As well as creating original work, she also combines mandala work with meditation and mindfulness practices. She's an experienced facilitator of mandala art, mindfulness and meditation workshops, and the workshops are set in businesses, hospitals, art centers, public libraries. Her website is healingcreations.ie. So, hi, Patricia.
Hi, Steve. It's lovely to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Great. So let me ask you, how did this all begin, your journey?
Well, it was a very unexpected journey. So when I was younger, I'd always wanted to be an artist, and I got into art college. I never found my way with it. I wasn't allowed to go to art college because it was the recession in the 80s. So I did a secretarial course instead. Oh. And I then became a library assistant, and I did my art degree at night, and it turned me off art for the next 25 years. I didn't paint at all after that. It was very political. I kind of always was very interested in the feminine and in ancient Ireland and Egypt, and that was just a no-no. So I then did my degree in librarianship and worked as a librarian for 27 years. And then in 2012, I started to experience just like what I can only describe as just so many synchronicities happening. I had nobody spiritual around me. I wasn't seeking consciously, but obviously I was unconsciously. I was going through a divorce. My whole life just went up in the air, and I didn't know where the balls were going to land. But the synchronicities were profound, and at times I thought I was going mad, and then at other times other people would be involved in the synchronicity. So you had that, wow moment with somebody, and you're going, wow, what is this? So I began reading quantum physics. I was reading Einstein's Spooky Action at a Distance. And then I came across Jung and his work on synchronicity, and I began writing. I knew my creativity wanted to come back out, and because I'd been a librarian for so long, I felt my natural path then was to write. And so I had written half a novel, and the synchronicities were just phenomenal throughout that writing process. And then at one stage I went to Malta with my daughter, who was 7 at the time, and she asked, could she buy a wire mandala? That was, I think it was €5 on the seafront. So I just said, yeah, grand, no problem. And when she got it, I kept picking it up and playing with it. So I'd just be fiddling with it all the time. It was just lovely. There was something about it. And so I decided I'd have the character in my novel play with this wire mandala just as a very much a side trait, as in the character. And I Googled mandala, and the first thing that came up was that Carl Jung had drawn a mandala most days for the latter part of his life, and I was currently reading his work on synchronicity. So I went, oh, okay, here we go again. So I drew my first one in my little diary there, and when I came home from Malta, I just kept drawing them. And I would come home from work and I'd do a meditation, clear the energy. It was a little bit toxic environment at that time, and I cleared the energy, and I just work at night. I turned off my TV, lit a candle, and I can't even express the change and the comfort that they brought me. And there was a lot of release of energy. So sometimes you'd cry, during the process of them. And then sometimes I would burn the pieces. So it was very much alchemical. And I ended up getting rid of my television. I couldn't even be around a TV after that. So I haven't had a TV now for, 12 years. So it's been a profound experience, and it was just synchronistically led from kind of me sharing them on my my private Facebook page, and people going, wow. And then they just started spreading organically. And then synchronistically, I began doing workshops, like the strangest things would happen. Like I was supposed to go to a writing retreat in Carlingford, which is the northern, just near the border. And it ended up being cancelled. So I decided, look, I have to get away. I was in the middle of the divorce and everything. I said, I'm going to go away. And I ended up going on a yoga retreat, and I heard people there talking about synchronicities. And then I realized, oh, hang on, it's a spiritual thing that's happening to me. So it was very unsought, I suppose, after. And then the next day on that retreat, there was supposed to be an artist coming in to do life drawing, and she ended up being ill. And the lady Martina at the yoga retreat asked me, would I teach people mandalas, because they'd seen me drawing my little creations, you know, in my own time. And I did that, and there was a lady there who loved it and invited me, and so it just grew. And yeah, it's changed my whole life. So I resigned from my job in 2018, and I do this full time now. So yeah.
Amazing. And you have this amazing shop in Dublin. You're kind of just on the outskirts, I think, aren't you?
Yeah, which is South Dublin, so just near the Dublin Mountains. So Marley Park in Rathfarnham.
Ah, yeah, Marley Park. I do recommend anybody in Dublin, do go and visit, or if you're heading through Dublin, do go visit. The address is on the website, so that will come out with this one. So why mandalas? What do you think the power of mandalas are?
I think on every level, I think you're acting, you know, if you meditate on the mandala, you can just allow the shapes to move in and out. So it's expanding consciousness. So all these geometries are correlated with the natural world. And so we've been so separated from nature and from the natural world that when we start to practice working with those geometries, you start to come back into harmonic resonance with nature. So it's like, say, if you went into an industrial estate, a factory, and you kind of feel, you feel tight and whereas if you go into, say, a church or a Georgian building, or, you know, a temple, somewhere that's been built with the divine proportion, you immediately just go, oh,
yeah,
right?
yeah, totally.
So it's such a phenomenal thing, and that I think we downplay how important you know, ratio and number and geometry is in our lives. So when you're in nature, you're within that harmony, so you feel good.
And how about meditation? Because they look amazing. You can just sit, like the one behind you. I can just sit probably and look at it for hours. This is what you use them for as well, meditation tools?
Yeah, absolutely. So the way I would recommend using them is kind of gazing at them at kind of arm's length for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. It's brilliant for people who don't like closed-eyed meditation. If you've been through trauma or that, it's a great way to meditate. Or if you want to do that and then continue into closed-eyed meditation, and it will expand the experience. So it's definitely opening up. My dream landscape has exponentially opened up, shall we say, and I don't know which comes first, the chicken or the egg sometimes. So it's like I get inspired by the dreams, and also the geometries cause the dreams.
Well, when I came to Ireland with my partner, we came away with a load of stuff. So here's one it's just come from the framers, actually. This one is the 64 Star Tetrahedron, number 8 of 100. So it's still got all the plastic around it. So what about this one? I love this symbol. I've been using it a lot myself. What can you say about this image?
It's very much a sacred geometry, and there's so much embedded into that. I think it's very earth energy and the solar energy. That's what I feel intuitively. I often work very, very intuitively with, so I might do certain sacred geometries, and then I feel into the feeling around it. So I could feel that kind of gold and white light coming through that shape, that energy. And it's a hugely, profoundly powerful shape to meditate on. So you see all the points of energy that are coming through.
Yeah.
Where like they happen. They just happen. Like I don't have to do anything. They, you know, you're just going with the pen, and then you get these like not nodes of light and nodes of connection. Which is really, it's very, very powerful one to work on. That, and the Sri Yantra is another one. You might be familiar with.
I love this one. Well, I've got like some more. I've got another one here. This one is the healer.
Yeah, that's the way I work. Is I don't go with intention. I don't go with the thing in my head going, I'm going to paint this. I go to the canvas and I put the dot in the center, find the center, and then you find the center within yourself. And then I just begin to create, and whatever happens, happens. So I'm not choosing, I'm not deciding things. And obviously your brain will go a couple of steps ahead. And sometimes something unexpected will happen, or you might make what you perceive to be a mistake. But those are always the best pieces. And I always go, whoa, this is great. It's like you're working with the higher power. You're working with something else in the creative process. You're just a conduit. And so that, I think that the crucifix, it's kind of a cross shaped, you could say, depending on, you know, I would say the XY axis. So you have this axis, the horizontal, and then you have the vertical. So this is this plane, the 3D reality, and then you're moving from the ground to the earth, which is your, you know, 4D to 5D connection. So yeah, and it's just balancing those and being in the center of those.
Well, here's my third one, intention.
Yeah.
How about that one? Look at all that color.
Yeah, that one was see, I've done kind of a flower of life pattern, so it's very geometric, but then I've morphed into very organic, kind of feels almost watery. And sometimes I feel like when you do the work, it's like sometimes it looks like atoms, or it looks like universes at the same time. And it's as above, so below. And so everything is a mirror of itself. So you really get that feeling with it. And then again, the light just seems to come out of them. And I always like, yeah, that always amazes me. Yeah.
Gorgeous, isn't it? The colors, purple and greens, and and the one behind you. I know I asked you when we started the call. I think you call it Astral Portal. This big one behind you. What about that one?
That one is very much the full moon. So I often use the moon in my pieces, because I work a lot with dreams of the moon, and the moon, I just love it. And I dream more on the full moon and the new moon. So definitely my dreams and that connection with guides is much stronger at those times. Right. So I use that within the piece. And then there's a 12 pointed star around the moon. Yeah. I don't know if you can see that very well. I don't know if I can pull, will I pull the camera over or?
No, I can see, yeah, I can see.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So there's a 12 pointed star. So 12 is a hugely powerful number. We base time on the number 12. So 12 with the 12 hours in the day, 12 hours in the night, the 24 hours. And then around it, you kind of see like wheels of like cogs on a watch. So yeah, so it's very much about time. And sometimes when I'm creating, especially, time stands still. So it's like a lot of people say that workshops, they just go, oh my God, that flew. Like when you're creating, you go into this other, I think time is elusive. So say if something terrible happens to you, time can seem really long. Or if something brilliant is happening, it goes really quickly. So it moves, the movable piece and our concept and how we interact with it. And it's interesting that time backwards is emit. Oh yeah, like of course. Emit a frequency. So I'm kind of playing with all this because mandalas will always throw up opposites. So there's always dark and light. And you have to have contrast. For any painting, you have to have a contrast. There has to be dark and there has to be light. And with mandalas, it's very much about balance and that feeling of leaving space and putting in detail and feeling into the balancing of that. So it's like almost problem solving. So you're trying to keep it balanced, the piece. So
very cool. Where do you get your inspiration from? Is it life? Is it the shower? Is it meditation? Is it walking? Nature? Where do you get?
I think sometimes I don't be going around consciously thinking about what am I going to draw next or anything like. I just don't do that. I just go to the canvas and I meditate every day. I do your meditations like Billy. I'm always doing your meditations and I have been for years. And I don't even know how I came across and then how we connected. Anyway, that's the way it works. But I would dream. Sometimes my dreams are just so intense. I will often bring a symbol from the dreams into the pieces. So occasionally on dreams, I've had symbols being drawn on sand shown to me. Names, I get names. I had one last week and I got the name, the guide was called Jagdeep. And I looked it up. I have no idea. I looked up Jagdeep, and the meaning of the name is light of the universe. It's not like,
Wow, amazing.
Like, I don't know. I just understand it. I don't understand it. I'm not going to pretend I do.
Yeah.
But it's there, and I can't deny it. And I think the work I do, like say people come into the shop, I think you do something similar, that you're like, I feel like a bridge between two worlds. So I've written a book as well called Who Would You Be If, which is the personal development for women. So it's very much talking about these synchronicities, but not talking in the language of 5D and 3D and things that frighten people away. You know, so because I think there's a lot of people on the cusp of awakening, particularly at the moment. You know, people are losing jobs and trying to find new ways of being and working and feeling a bit lost. So I think a lot of my work and the experiences that we have in life, like the dark times, allow you to help people, if that makes sense. Because you've been through it. I went through another dark night of the soul 2 years ago. I lost my mum, and then 2 weeks later I got diagnosed with breast cancer, and then 2 months later I lost my dad. So that was like huge. I think if it wasn't for doing mandalas and doing meditation practice, I don't think I'd have got through all that as well as I have. Obviously I'm still processing it and always will be. This is always going to be a part of my life. But I know now, say if somebody walks into the shop, I know I can see a grieving person. I recognize them. I recognize a person who's had cancer or who is going through treatment. And often people, you know, I end up having these beautiful conversations with them. And they say, oh, I was meant to come in here. And it's just a lovely experience, because everything, if you can find the diamond in the rough, and there is always a diamond in the rough, I know it can be bloody hard to see it, but, you know, it's there. And these little moments, and even when I was ill, like I had some just astonishing synchronicities when I was in the hospital, and amazing conversations with some of the doctors and nurses as well around everything going on at the moment. And, you know, the nonsense over the last couple of years. And yeah, it was an interesting place, and things happen for you, not to you. And maybe if you can bring the experiences that you have and help other people, so much the better.
Amazing. No, I know you've got lots of stuff in your shop. One of the things I noticed was card deck of your images. And have you got one to hand? I
do. Will I pull this one?
Yeah, let's see what we get this morning.
So I have it's a 54 card deck, and it has 54 of my paintings. So 7 years of work in this. I'm hoping to do a new one soon. Okay, let's see what we get. There we go. Intuition.
Intuition, beautiful.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And that one, it has you can see there. I don't know. Can you see there the Celtic cross?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I have another very interesting synchronicity around that one. But the message on it is trust your gut, get to know the signals of what feels right and what feels wrong within your own body, mind, and soul. Know thyself. So that's the
perfect message. Perfect message.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to ask finally about your Mandala workshops. Can you just say something about that?
Yeah, I've been back giving them. I had kind of taken a break during COVID. I obviously couldn't give them in real life, and I didn't want to give them with masks. I can't. It's about taking off masks, and it's about getting into knowing yourself. So the creation of the mandala is very much a practice of kind of listening to your inner voice and listening to the critic that might come up, because a lot of people, if they haven't drawn for a while, or even if they see the math set, the compass set, they go, oh my god, I was really bad at maths, and immediately this voice starts clicking in. Or people will say everybody else's is better and mine isn't, is rubbish, you know. So it's listening to that inner voice without judgment and understanding that everybody has it. And if you can kind of just hear it and go, oh, that's interesting, without judgment, and go, where else am I doing that? Is there another place in my life? So they're like mirrors. They're like little mirrors. Every time you do one, it's like a mirror to what's happening on a larger scale in your life, if that makes sense. And so we do deep meditation as well within the practice. And sometimes like mandalas can be used to release something, for healing, or for manifesting as well. So often bringing in the energy. There's a lot to do with the energy of the masculine and feminine. That again, that balance of the divine masculine and feminine. So the straight line is the masculine, the feminine is the circles of curve, and in, you know, in how we act out, that is our allowing what we've got. Intuition would be very much a feminine aspect, and then trying to get that intuition and bring it manifest into the world. So having an idea, I'm going to start, say, a spiritual business, whatever it is, having the idea, but the masculine then energy is getting that idea out. So it's important to kind of take time. So where, as you said, do you have your ideas in the shower or in nature? So taking those times to do the things where the ideas are allowed to percolate, and then bringing that energy in. And as you know, I'm sure you know yourself, when you start this business, you get shown all the lessons that you have to overcome. And it's such a fascinating journey. Yeah.
Well, Patricia, amazing. Carry on the good work. And are you working on something at the moment?
I'm hopefully working on I have some of these card decks left, and hopefully a new card deck in the future. I'm doing a workshop in Kilkenny. If anyone, I don't know when this is going to be aired, but in Kilkenny on Monday, and I'll be in Wexford. The Wexford one is booked up, unfortunately, in September. And I hope to go. I'm getting building work done in my house at the moment, so I'm on creation phase. They just knocked down my kitchen. And it amazes me how quick destruction is.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just so interesting to see it. So that building work will be on for a while, and then hopefully I will get back to doing online workshops.
Fabulous.
I got
Well, Patricia,
today to do this.
I look forward to seeing you next time we're in Ireland.
I look forward to seeing you too.